I need to start before Ryan, and before Claire even. I need to start with me. Because I think that's the part that matters most. Who you are before someone takes it from you. My name is Emma. I was 26 when this story happened. Living in a small apartment in the East Village, New York. 3rd floor. No elevator. A window that stuck every time it rained. I had a job I loved. Graphic designer. Small agency. The kind of work that made me forget to eat lunch. I had a routine. Morning run along the East River. Coffee from the same cart every single day. Same man, same order. He knew my name. That mattered to me. Small things always did. I had my mother. 4 hours away in Boston. We talked every Sunday. Without fail, she was, and still is, the most constant thing in my life. And I had Claire. Claire. We had been best friends since 7th grade. 13 years. More than half my life. She was the person who knew everything about me. My fears. My secrets. My 2 a.m. voice. The version of me nobody else got to see. I trusted her the way you trust someone who has been there through everything. Without question. Without hesitation. That trust, unconditional, unquestioned, was the thing that would eventually cost me everything. But I didn't know that yet. I was 26. 3rd floor. No elevator. Window that stuck when it rained. And I was completely, entirely, dangerously okay. Claire and I met on the first day of 7th grade. I was standing at my locker. Completely unable to open it. Pulling, pushing, nothing. She walked over. Didn't introduce herself. Didn't ask if I needed help. Just took the lock. One smooth motion. It opened. She handed it back. Said, "It sticks on the left. Push right first." And walked away. I stared after her. And thought, I want to be friends with that person. We were inseparable within a week. 30 years. Through her parents' divorce. Through my father losing his job. Through every failed exam. Every heartbreak. Every 2 a.m. She was the first person I called. Always. Good news. Bad news. No news. Just needed to hear her voice. She knew things about me nobody else knew. That I failed my driving test 4 times. That I was terrified of failure. Deeply, quietly terrified. That I kept a journal. Had kept one since I was 15. That I had a scar on my left knee from falling off my bike at 9 and I still couldn't look at it without feeling embarrassed. Small things. Big things. Everything in between. She knew all of it. I want you to hold on to that. As I tell you the rest of this story, remember, she knew all of it. Every fear. Every weakness. Every crack. She had the map of everything inside me. And she gave it to exactly the wrong person. It was a Friday, September, still. Warm in New York, that last warmth before. Everything turns cold. Claire called me that afternoon. Said, "There's a rooftop party in Brooklyn. You're coming." No arguments. "You've been inside for 3 weekends. You need air. You need people. Come." I said, "Claire, I have a deadline." She said, "Emma, come." So I went. Because I always went. When Claire said come, I came. That should have been the first thing I examined. How automatically I followed her. How rarely I questioned. The party was everything. I didn't want. Loud. Crowded. Everyone performing a version of themselves. I found a corner. Got a drink. Checked my phone. Claire appeared. Grabbed my arm. "Come. There's someone I want you to meet." She walked me across the rooftop. Deliberately. Like she knew exactly where she was going. Like she had done this before. He was standing by the railing. Looking out at the city. Dark jacket. Dark hair. The kind of person who looks like they're thinking. Something more interesting than everyone else. "Ryan, this is Emma. Emma, Ryan, I have a feeling about you two." And then she was gone. Into the crowd. Just like that. Ryan looked at me. Smiled. Said, "She does that. Introduces people and disappears. Like she can't watch what she started." I laughed. He was charming, easy. We talked for 3 hours. When Claire found us at midnight, she looked between us. And smiled. That smile. I thought it was love. My best friend wanting good things for me. It was not that. What I didn't know, what I wouldn't know for 2 years, was that Claire and Ryan had dated. 6 months before this party, she had loved him. He had used her, taken what he wanted, and moved on. And Claire, instead BF warning me, handed me to him. I still don't fully understand why. Maybe she thought if I was with him she could stay close to him. Maybe she was punishing him by giving him someone she knew he would eventually destroy. Maybe she was punishing me for something I never knew I did. Maybe all three. What I know is this: she stood there and smiled while handing me to the wolf, and I walked straight in because I trusted her completely, without question. That is the thing about the people who know us best. They know exactly which door to open and exactly how to make us walk through it. Ryan and I started dating 2 weeks after the party. The beginning was everything. The way beginnings always are when someone has studied you carefully. He remembered everything. I said, everything. A week after we met, he texted me a link to an exhibition at a gallery in Chelsea. You mentioned you love this artist. It closes Sunday. Want to go? I hadn't mentioned it. I had mentioned it to Claire on the phone 2 months before, but I didn't know that then. I thought he was attentive. I thought he was different. He texted good morning. Every single day, without fail. He made me feel like the most interesting person in any room. He said things like, I feel like I already know you, like we've met before. Is that strange? It wasn't strange. It was calculated. He did already know me. Through Claire. Through everything she had told him. Through 13 years of my most private self. But I didn't know that. So I fell, completely gratefully. Claire was thrilled. Or performed thrilled. I couldn't tell the difference then. Emma, he's perfect for you. I knew it. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. She said it constantly. Every time I had a doubt. Every time something felt off. Every time my instinct whispered, wait. Don't mess this up, Emma. You always do this. You catastrophize. You self-sabotage. This one is real. Don't ruin it. So I silenced the whisper. Again and again. And again. Because Claire knew me. Better than I knew myself. Or so I believed. 3 months in, I was in love. Completely. Already gone. And somewhere across town, Claire and Ryan were still talking. Every day, I would find that out later. From the diary. But that comes later. For now, I was just a girl who thought she had found something real. Who thought her best friend had given her a gift. I had no idea it was a trap. Gift wrapped, with a smile. And 13 years of my own secrets used as bait. 6 months in, the charming version of Ryan started making room for the real one. It started with comments. Small ones, delivered casually, like observations, not attacks. Is that what you're wearing? I mean, you look fine. I just thought you'd dress up more. You failed your driving test 4 times? That's wow. How does that even happen? Wait. I had never told him about the driving test. I hadn't. I was certain of it. I had only ever told, I filed it away. Didn't look at it directly. Not yet. The comments continued. About my friends. They're not really your level, Emma. You've grown. They haven't. It's okay to admit that. About my job. You're talented. Too talented for that place. But I guess comfort is comfortable. About my body. You looked better when we first started dating. I'm being honest. Because I care. Each comment alone. Nothing. A bad day. An off moment. Together. A carefully built architecture of doubt. I started shrinking. Asking his opinion before making decisions. Dressing for his approval. Canceling plans he hadn't even asked me to cancel. Just anticipating. What would make him comfortable? What would keep the peace? I called Claire. Of course I called Claire. I told her everything. The comments. The doubt. The way I was starting to not recognize myself. She listened. Patient. Quiet. Then said, Emma, every relationship has rough patches. Ryan is a good man. You know how you get. You look for problems. Don't mess this up over nothing. Over nothing. My shrinking was nothing. My doubt was nothing. My instinct screaming was nothing. I believed her. Because she was Claire. Because SNE knew me. Because 13 years had taught me to trust her voice over my own. So I stayed. And I got smaller. And Ryan got more comfortable. And Claire kept answering his calls. The ones I didn't know about. The ones that happened while I was making pasta and thinking everything was fine. It was a Thursday evening, November. I came home early from work. Headache. Wanted to lie down. Ryan was in the kitchen. On the phone. Laughing. That specific laugh. The performance laugh. The one he used when he wanted someone to like him. I heard him say, she has no idea. She trusts everyone. It's almost too easy. He turned, saw me. The laugh died. Work call. Difficult client. He hung up. Kissed my forehead. Asked about my headache. I said nothing. but something in me went very still. Very quiet. The way things go quiet right before something breaks. I started paying attention. His phone, always face down. Certain calls, taken outside. Certain names, never mentioned. And the things he knew. The things he shouldn't have known. My driving test. My journal. My fear of failure. The scar on my left knee. The fact that I cried at the end of every school year because I hated goodbyes. I had never told him any of these things. I had told Claire. All of them. Over 13 years. In her bedroom. In my kitchen. At 2 a.m. On the phone. I sat with that. For days. Turning it over. Not wanting to see it clearly. Because seeing it clearly meant something I wasn't ready for. It meant the person I had trusted with everything. Had given everything to someone else. It meant 13 years of my most private self had been handed over. Like currency. Like ammunition. I still didn't know the full extent of it. That came later. From a diary I was never supposed to find. It was a Saturday afternoon. Ryan was out. I was cleaning. I don't know why I went into the bottom drawer. The one in the hallway. The one Ryan used for things he called paperwork. Maybe I was looking for something. Maybe some part of me already knew. Under a stack of old envelopes. A notebook. Small. Dark green cover. Worn at the corners. I almost put it back. I almost did. I opened it. Claire's handwriting. Unmistakable. The way she made her C's. The way she never dotted her I's. 13 years of notes. Passed in class. I knew her handwriting better than my own. It was her diary. I should have closed it. I know that. I didn't. The first entry I read, dated 8 months before the rooftop party. Ryan called again. 3 times today. I don't know what he wants from me anymore. He says he misses me. He says I'm the only one who understands him. Then why did he leave? Why does he keep calling if he doesn't want to come back? I turned pages. Ryan asked about Emma today. Said he'd seen her photo on my Instagram. Said she seemed interesting. I don't know what that means. I don't know what he's doing. I told him she's my best friend. He said, introduce us. Just like that. Introduce us. I turned more pages. Ely hands were shaking. I did it. I introduced them at Sarah's party. I don't know why I did it. He asked me to. He said if I did this for him, he would stop contacting me. He would leave me alone. He said, just give me this, and I'll go. Emma laughed at something he said. I watched her, and I felt sick. But I also felt relief. Is that terrible? If he has Emma, maybe he'll leave me alone. Maybe I can finally breathe. I set the diary down. Picked it up again. More entries. Emma called. Told me things about Ryan. The comments. The way he makes her feel. I told her to stay. I told her she was catastrophizing. I don't know why I said that. I knew she wasn't. I know what he does. I know exactly what he does. I just couldn't say it. If she leaves him, he comes back to me. And I can't. I cannot go through that again. The last entry. 2 months ago. Ryan called again. From Emma's phone. When she was in the shower, he said, this is getting complicated. He said, she's asking questions. He said, keep her calm. I said, I can't do this anymore. He said, yes, you can. You always do. I hate him. I hate myself more. I hate that Emma trusts me. I hate that I keep being the person who doesn't deserve it. I closed the diary. I sat on the hallway floor for a very long time, and I understood everything. All of it, at once. Ryan had dated Claire. Used her, left her, then used her again to get to me. He had asked her to introduce us. She had done it, to get him away from her, using me as the solution. And when I started seeing the truth, she kept me in place. Because if I left, he came back to her, and she was terrified of that. 2 people, both broken, both afraid, and me in the middle, trusting both of them, being used by both of them, not out of pure evil. That's the complicated part. Claire wasn't a villain. She was a person who was scared and damaged and made terrible choices to protect herself. But the result was the same. I was sitting on a hallway floor, with a diary that wasn't mine, and a life I didn't recognize, and everything I thought I knew was gone. I called Ryan first. He answered immediately, cheerful. Hey, where are you? I just got back. You want to order Thai? I said, I found Claire's diary. Silence. 3 seconds, 4. Then, Emma. Just don't. I read it. All of it. I know about Claire. I know you asked her to introduce us. I know you've been talking to her this whole time. I know everything. He tried. I'll give him that. He tried for 20 minutes. Explanations, reframings. It wasn't like that. Claire misrepresented things. She has feelings for me. She's been obsessed. You can't trust what she wrote. Emma, I love you. This is all. I hung up. I called Claire. She answered on the first ring, like she had been waiting. I said, I found your diary, Claire. She didn't say anything. For a long time. And then she cried. Real tears. I think they were real. I'll never fully know. She said, Emma, I am so sorry. I am so deeply sorry. I was scared. I was so scared of him. And I made you the solution to my problem. And that was wrong. That was so wrong. I've known it every single day. I've hated myself every day. But I kept going because I didn't know how to stop. I listened to all of it. And then I said, I have one question. When I called you, every time I called you and told you something was wrong, did you know? Did you know what he was doing? She was quiet. Yes, one word, yes. Goodbye, Claire. I hung up. And that was the last time I spoke to either of them. I stood in my hallway, the diary still on the floor, and I felt something I didn't expect. Not anger, not yet. Just a terrible, total silence. The kind that comes when everything you thought was real turns out to be something else entirely. I want to be honest about what came next. Because every story like this wants to skip to the part where the woman is strong. Where she walks away clean. Where she rebuilds like it was easy. It was not easy. The first week, I barely got out of bed. I called my mother. Told her everything. She drove 4 hours. Didn't say I told you so. Just sat beside me. Made tea, let me cry. The second week, I went back to work. Sat at my desk, stared at my screen, produced nothing. My boss asked if I was okay. I said yes. She looked at me the way people look when they know you're lying but respect you enough not to push. Ryan called. Every day for 2 weeks, then every other day, then once a week, then nothing. That last silence was somehow the hardest part. Isn't that strange? I didn't want him to call. But when he stopped, something in me felt the loss of it. Not of him, of the person I thought he was. In the beginning, before. Claire texted. Long messages, apologies, explanations. Please, Emma, 13 years. Please don't let him take that too. I read every message. I didn't reply to any of them. The third week, I cried in the elevator at work. Doors closed, just me, and the hum of the cables, and everything I was holding. The fourth week, I got angry, finally. Good, clean anger. The kind that burns away everything that doesn't belong. I was angry at Ryan, obviously, for using me. For using Claire's damage as a tool. For seeing my trust as a weakness to exploit. But I was angrier at Claire. Because Ryan was a stranger. At the beginning, he owed me nothing. He showed me exactly who he was. I just wasn't looking. But Claire knew me. 13 years. Every fear, every secret, every 2 a.m. She knew what it would do to me. She knew exactly. And she did it anyway. That anger, I let myself feel it, completely. I didn't rush past it. I didn't dress it up. I sat in it, and I let it burn. Because sometimes anger is not the problem. Sometimes anger is the first honest thing you felt in a long time. Recovery is not a moment. I want to say that clearly. It is not the day you hang up the phone. It is not the week your anger peaks. It is not even the month you start sleeping properly again. It is slow, unglamorous, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, sometimes 1 step forward, 3 steps back. I started therapy 3 months after. A woman named Dr. Reeves. She had a plant on her windowsill that was somehow thriving. I found that comforting. The first thing she said to me after I told her everything was this. Emma, you didn't do anything wrong by trusting people. Trust is not a character flaw. What happened to you is not a reflection of your judgment. It is a reflection of their choices. I cried for the rest of that session. I made new friends, slowly, carefully. I let people in, but I paid attention this time to actions, not just words, to who showed up, not just who said they would. I started running again. The East River, same route, same coffee cart, same man, same order. He handed me my cup, said, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're back. It was such a small thing. And I almost cried right there on the street. Because that was real. That was someone who noticed I was gone. And said so, simply, without agenda. I started noticing those moments. Collecting them. Small proofs that not everyone was Ryan, not everyone was Claire. My mother called every Sunday. Without fail. She always had. I started answering on the first ring. A colleague at work, Maya, started inviting me to lunch. Every week, I said no for a month, then yes. Then it became a thing, a real thing. She is one of my closest friends now. It took time, a long time, 18 months, and I am still not fully the person I was before. I don't think I will be, but I am something else, something that might be more useful than who I was before. I am a person who pays attention now, who listens to the whisper, who does not silence her own instinct for someone else's comfort. I am a person who knows, finally, fully knows, that trust is earned. Not given, not assumed, not handed over because someone has been around for a long time. Time does not equal trustworthiness. 13 years does not equal safety. Actions do. Choices do. What someone does when it costs them something, that is who they are. Claire made her choice. When it cost her something, she chose herself, at my expense. And Ryan was never a choice. He was a lesson, expensive, painful, but mine now, fully mine. I am 30 now, 4 years since that rooftop party, 2 years since the diary. I want to tell you what I know now. Not as advice. I'm not qualified to give advice, just as truth. The things I wish someone had said to me before. The person who knows all your secrets is not automatically the person who keeps them. I know that sounds obvious. It wasn't to me. I confused knowing with deserving. Claire knew me. Therefore, she deserved my trust. That is not how it works. People can know you completely and still choose themselves over you. Every time, when it matters, pay attention to what people do when protecting you costs them something. That is the only real test. Everything else is easy. Friendship is easy when nothing is at stake. Love is easy when everything is good. The real question is, what does this person do when telling you the truth is uncomfortable for them? What do they do when protecting you means losing something they want? Claire's answer, when protecting me, meant losing her buffer from Ryan, was to sacrifice me, quietly, smilingly. That was her answer. Watch for the answer. In your own life. In the people around you. It shows up in small moments long before the big ones. The friend who tells you what you want to hear instead of what you need to. The person who encourages you to stay in something that hurts you. The one who says, don't mess this up, but never says, you deserve better. Those are not your people. No matter how long they've been around. No matter how much history you share. No matter how well they know you. Knowing you is not the same as being for you. Ryan broke my heart. He showed me what manipulation looks like when it wears the face of love. Claire broke my soul. She showed me what betrayal looks like when it wears the face of your best friend. But neither of them broke me. I am still here. Clearer, slower to trust, more careful, more boundaried, more myself. And the lesson, the one I carry now, the person who knows all your secrets is not always the person who keeps them. Choose your people carefully, not by how long they've been there, but by what they do when it costs them to be there. That is everything. That is the whole lesson. I hope it cost you less than it cost me to learn it.